Big Rockies offseason coming off of a World Series championship, and both Jonathan Loaisiga and John Means are offered deals early on. Staff-wise, the Rockies need a new first base coach after their previous one retired with the ring. Sammy Morris is the choice for a 3-year deal at $3.5 million, and he accepts to join the World Series champion staff. Bad news comes soon after that, though, as Alex Reyes declines his player option to become a free agent. Rockies brass sent Reyes and his agent an offer for 5 years, $20 million total. Byron Buxton is traded to the Phillies, and the Twins get Chris Taylor and starting pitcher prospect Eloy Caballero in return. German Marquez played like a turd in the postseason, and it was time to dump that $21 million salary, and 3 very nice prospects came in for him, including subscriber prospect closer Rigoberto Ramirez Jr. Aaron Savale and John Curtis receive long-term offers to stay Rockies, and the other arbitration-eligible players were all offered their arbitrations. In free agency, the Rockies were targeting Corbin Burnes and Anthony Santander among bringing their own back to the squad. However, Corbin Burnes shunned them for the St. Louis Cardinals in a 6-year big money deal. He joined Shane Bieber as the first huge free agent dominoes to fall, as Bieber gets a huge $35 million a year for a 9 years deal to the Reds. That changed the Rockies' starting pitching target to Max Fried, and Alex Reyes was being sought after in the NL as the Marlins and the Giants outbid, so it was time to up the money there and increase the price. We may have traded Salvi Perez to the Guardians, but they're moving on, sending him to St. Louis for Steven Matz and a center field prospect, Adrian Trejo. Orson Kelly then signs with the Red Sox for 5 years, $65 million, and Carlos Correa goes to the Chicago White Sox for 7 years, $201.6 million. The Pirates claim our third baseman, Joe Perez, 25 years old, off waivers, and then they also claim 26-year-old right fielder Brenton Doyle from us off waivers. Max Fried got out of our price range, and it became a race for Mike Soroka instead. We also stood on John Means as his price increased because we wanted the Cy Young winner back. Reliever A.J. Minter becomes a Cub for the next 4 years, and catcher Danny Jansen gets 3 years with the New York Yankees. Max Fried takes a 6-year, $130.8 million deal to go to the Houston Astros. Gross. And the Cardinals continue their big offseason, bringing in Adalberto Mondesi from the Marlins for 2 prospects. Former Rocky Garrett Hampson will get a shot to play them as a member of the Diamondbacks with a 4-year, $31.2 million deal. Mike Soroka finally accepts his 2-year, $45 million deal with our Rockies. Chris Bryant was worth a bag of flaming hot fart Cheetos, and we took that in the form of 21-year-old limited prospect Jerome Rocker, just to dump Bryant's gross salary and be able to bring in better players to keep the team going strong. The Dodgers sent Taylor Rogers to the Reds for Chad Green and Darryl Nieves, which made us happy as he was tough to deal with in LA. Then the Tigers flipped Javi Baez to the Brewers for Hunter Renfroe. Tyler O'Neill signs with the Blue Jays for 6 years, $146.4 million. Jacob Stallings is a Guardian for the next season, and Pablo Lopez is stuck with the Pirates for 4. Pirates then sent Josh Hader to the Rangers for Josh Jung and Josh Smith. You gotta be joshin' with me. Rockies lost arbitration on Jazz Chisholm. He's gonna make $3.1 million next year. They also lost arbitration on Adley Rutschman, who will be getting $2.1 million next year. They lost arbitration on Jason Dominguez for $2.1 million next year. Another loss of arbitration on Emmanuel Clase. He'll get $3.8 million, but he's worth every penny. Devin Smeltzer wins his arbitration as well to make $2.8 million. Don't know if he's worth it. William Contreras will make $1.6 million. Even as a backup catcher, that's super worth it. And Michael King wins his. He'll make $2.4 million. We'll see how he does in the spring. And Aaron Savale, who we couldn't come to a long-term agreement with, he'll make $4.6 million for next year in arbitration. Totally worth it. The one win for the Rockies was with Brendan Rodgers, who's going to make $2.9 million next season, which I think is pretty worth it. Somehow the front office was able to fit the team in the budget again, and it's time to see if another run at the World Series can be made with this team. Would have liked to see a better spring training than 13 and 15 here in simulation, but the hitters for the most part got the job done outside of Adley Rutschman and Jazz Chisholm. Pitching wasn't awful, but Michael King and Boone Ramo really need work. However, we don't want to work with Michael King, and he's going to get shipped back to the New York Yankees for a low-level prospect. For the most part, this year's Rockies lineup is set to include shortstop Tim Anderson, center fielder Jason Dominguez, right fielder Juan Soto, First baseman Spencer Torkelson, that's the new surprise. Third baseman Rafi Devers, DH. Well, we're going to DH Shohei Ohtani. Left fielder Jorge Soler, catcher Adley Rutschman, and second baseman Jazz Chisholm, with Anthony Santander, Ellie De La Cruz, we got in trade, Brendan Rodgers, Benny Montgomery, and William Contreras getting chances off the bench. Not a lot of changes to the lineup. The pitching rotation is set as Shohei Ohtani, Mike Soroka, John Means, Aaron Savale, and Joe Rock, with Boone Ramo, Derek Watson, John Curtis, Alex Reyes, and Rigoberto Ramirez Jr. in the pen, and Jonathan Loaizaga setting up for closer Emmanuel Clase. Opening day, Season 4 of this Rockies franchise, and it's Rockies at Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen on the hill opposing Shohei Ohtani, and we go to the bottom of the second. Ohtani in a jam with corners and no outs as he gets the fly out to center field. The runner on third tags and scores for the first run of the ball game. Then it's Jordan Lawler taking Ohtani deep to right field to the track, and it is caught by Juan Soto for the second out. Then after that, Ohtani gets Alek Thomas swinging for the final out, only allowing one. Bottom five, it's 2 on 2 out for Jesse Winker, who hits one hard right by Jazz Chisholm to make it 3-0 Diamondbacks. 2 on 2 out chance in the seventh, Rutschman, and he's struck out by No Ramirez. That's no runs. Last batter is newcomer Santander, and he's struck out by J.B. Wendelken for the Diamondbacks 3-0 shutout win. Second game of the season, Rocks look for revenge against Caleb Killian and the D-backs, with Mike Soroka making his first Rocky start. Soroka had a 1-run lead in the first with 2 on and 2 out, but a perfectly hit single to right center ties the game up. And this pitch is hammered all the way out to right field, where Juan Soto makes the grab at the wall. Second straight game he did that to end the first. In the second, base is loaded, 1 out, and Jazz Chisholm gets an RBI single to right to give the Rocks the lead. Then Tim Anderson pops out to first base, followed by Juan Soto grounding out to first base to end the threat. Top 6 with 2 gone and 1 on, and Jorge Soler rips one into the left field corner, and a little trouble fielding yields an easy run for a 3-1 Rockies lead. Later, the Diamondbacks had a lead when Wendelken came in to close, but he gives up a double in the left field corner to Jason Dominguez, followed by this single straight to center to score the speedy Dominguez and tie the game. After that, Juan Soto comes up and drills one deep to right center to complete the nightmare inning for J.B. Wendelken, and his 3-run blast makes it 7-4, leading to the bell ringing for Clase to start. After a leadoff walk to Jordan Lawler, Clase gets Alek Thomas to fly deep to straightaway center for out number 1, with no advancement by Lawler. Then it's Garrett Hampson who flies to right field, caught by Soto, holding Lawler at first. Josh Rojas dribbles one to third and forces a horrible throw by Rafi Devers, and he's safe at first base. That puts 2 on for Brandon Nimmo, who hits one right over Juan Soto's head for a ground rule double. 2 in scoring position for Jesse Winker, who pops out to the pitcher to end the ball game 7-5 in favor of the Rockies. Close call, but the Rockies will get to 1-1. Game 3 of the opening 4-game set in Arizona for our Rockies has John Means opposing the young subscriber prospect Ben Parker, who's looking to make a name for himself. But Emmanuel Clase had a chance to close a 3-1 Rockies win. Unfortunately, he walks Jesse Winker and gives up a Yasmani Grandal single to right field. Then he makes a solid pitch, and he gets a little support from the first base ump to strike out Frankie Schwindel. Dominic Canzone completes his 0-for-4 day at the plate with a pop-up to Rafi Devers at third. And then it's Garrett Hampson with a chance to do damage against his old team, but his attempt to bloop single lands in Juan Soto's glove in right field for a 3-1 Rockies win to get to 2-1 on the season. Final game of the opening series for our Rockies against the rival Diamondbacks, and it's Maddox Bruns, who had a great year in 11 starts for Arizona last year. And it will oppose Aaron Savale, who the Rocks hope has a better year this year than last. His first start doesn't start great with a weak grounder, leading to Geraldo Perdomo being safe at first first with an RBI. In the fourth, it's Josh Rojas who beats out a double play for another RBI and a 3-0 Diamondbacks lead. In the ninth, it's 1 on, 2 out for Spencer Torkelson, who grounds into a fielder's choice, and the Diamondbacks end up splitting the opening series with the defending champions. Next episode, we're going to get to look at plenty of games leading into the All-Star break for Season 4 of this franchise. Which games are you looking forward to seeing recaps of? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, let me get some Rocky season predictions early on in the season in the comments as well. If you want this series continuing, keep that support up. If you made it this far, you're an MVP, so throw me a Juan Soto in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much, and special shout out to all of our channel members here on the channel, including TClink24 and Christian Horn, our only franchise quarterbacks, as well as Matthew Hackett, our only general manager. Love you, fam. FG fan for life.